this time, most of you should have a program. Most of you should have a program. There's a little information in there about our speaker. We won't have to go through that. You can read that. I will say that he was born in Montgomery, Alabama. He's the third child of Miss Teresa Lewis Davis. Miss Teresa Lewis Davis. Just in case you don't know, Teresa, stand up. And he's the grandson of Sister Alice Lewis. Juwan is a member here, and being here, he, as you saw for those this morning, he worked with the youth ushers, other areas in the church, whatever is needed. When he's here, he's more than willing to do so. He has done that since he was very small, and whenever he was here, participating in the Hoop for Jesus and other activities here at the church with our young people, and God has blessed him. Of course, he graduated from Callaway High School in Jackson, and now he's attending Hines Community College, the Utica campus, which is a part of Hines Community College. His intent when he finishes Hines Community is to go to Mississippi State University, and that's on the program also. But most of all, he's the young man who has acknowledged that he's been called to the ministry. So at this time, we're going to ask him to stand and make his way to the pulpit. With him and for him. If you do that, allow the Holy Spirit to have the right way, then we know God will use him. We are going to ask that our musicians choir will lead us in the angel hymn of Amazing Grace. After Amazing Grace, next for us would be that Brother Juwan Davis.
Let me first start off by saying God is good. To the great father figure in my life and the head of this church.
Amen. Amen.
Pastor Lewis. To the pulpit ministers and guest ministers, to all our auxiliary heads, this fine and great church. To all family and friends, and to all God's children in Christ. It's good to be in the house of the Lord. I want to thank all of our family and friends who have came from out of town and far distances. I am grateful for your presence. I ask for you to continue to pray for me through this journey. And I shall follow him every step of his word. At this time, it is time for a word. And I want us to, if you have your Bibles, I am coming from Matthew chapter 1, and I'll be reading verses 18 through 20. I'll be coming from Matthew chapter 1, verses 18 through 20. When you find it, it's good to say amen. Amen. I'll be reading from the Amplified Version this evening. Matthew chapter 1, verses 18 through 20. You should find these words. Now the birth of Jesus Christ took place under these circumstances. When his mother Mary had been promised in marriage to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be pregnant through the power of the Holy Spirit. And her promised husband Joseph, being a just and upright man, and not willing to expose her publicly and to shame and disgrace her, decided to dismiss or divorce her quietly and secretly. But as he was thinking this over, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, descendant of David, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. I've been led today for this special occasion, and I want to talk about and tell you all, it's time for your new path. It's time for your new path. Today is July 15th, 2018, and I was called about a month or so ago, and I was sitting down, and as I was receiving his word, his instructions, and I'm looking at the text, I first want to understand, if you all understand where we're coming from. I want you to first look at Joseph. Joseph, who's in marriage with Mary, who's pregnant through the Holy Spirit. And as I was looking at this text in the beginning of Matthew, I seen where it shows the genealogy of Jesus and the 14 generations he came from. And I first wanted to look at how Joseph and where he came from for as his family. And how you would see, and it describes in the text, that some of his family wasn't all good. I want to first introduce and help you understand why I seen with Joseph, how he was presented a path. But he was in a path that he wasn't unsure of. And because he wasn't unsure of, he was unsure and did not know that the path of what God set him for was going to create a door for a path for all of us. So So we look in here, and I see as it says in the 19th verse, and her husband Joseph, being a just and upright man, and not willing to expose her publicly and to shame and disgrace her, decided to dismiss or to divorce her quietly and secretly.
All right. Yes, sir.
And so that leads me to what I first want to us to ponder on and think about this first point. Do not let where you come from dictate where you are going. The angel came to Joseph, appeared to him, and said, Joseph, the son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. And that made me think, well, once Jesus, comes out, this from this mother Mary and this biblical human father Joseph, and he thinks and he sees and he's brought upon the information of his past generations. And sometimes that made me think that some of us, because we come from a bad background, we let that dictate where we can go. And so I'm reading in this text, and I'm seeing that Joseph and Jesus, who was born from this man who wasn't the perfect life. He wasn't born in no innocent, lavish hospital, but instead he was born in a stable where animals were lying. And that made me think, well, it made me think Jesus, this man who was born from, you would think the not so good family and the place that, it wasn't comfortable, but was born outside.
All right.
Could still, and the text was said that we can still heal.
Yes. All right. Oh, yeah.
He turned blind eyes that can see. He was bringing life and resurrecting people. And it led me to the question to think of to us nowadays, if Jesus can come from this and still perform miracles, why can't we look beyond Meridian and go out to the ones who needs us? So as I'm thinking, I realized that it was a question, that I realized that Joseph, how our path affects someone else's path. And so what I'm getting from this text right here is, we have people in today's world who letting their surroundings and where they at stopping them from where God is trying to take them. I'm saying in the realization, if you break it down, I'm saying, you just because you're riding a 2008 Cadillac doesn't mean, 2 or 3 years from now that you can have a 2017 Cadillac. I'm saying if Jesus can be born outside the stable, where I know some of us, if we would have been born outside, we would have had a fit. So I'm trying to understand, trying to tell you all, if we can just look beyond where we at right now, and we come to acceptance where we at right now. When God give us our new assignment, He can take us, I wish. There's this man by the name lost his father in an automobile accident. He was criticized by his heritage as he moved up higher in government. Due to criticism, even when he ran for the election, he was still talked about, and they were trying to bring everything out of positive into negative. And I'm just glad to say, if he would have let where he came from, God would not place him to be the 44th president of the United States. And if you don't know what I'm talking about Barack Hussein Obama. I'm saying this to first, for you to know it's time for a new path. You may be in some turmoil. Things may not be going good. But just because you're in bad right now doesn't mean you're going to stay in bad. As we look back at the text, Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 2. It says, "Then Jesus was led, guided by the Holy Spirit, into the wilderness, desert, to be tempted, tested, and tried by the devil. And he went without food for 40 days and 40 nights. And later he was hungry." I was reading this, and I thought to myself, okay, Lord, how you want me to put this? And what I got from it was, God prepares you for this new path. He prepares you for this new path. And I just want us to understand, you can't really tell a testimony if you ain't been through a storm. It says, was led by the Holy Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. So I believe, and what he's here to tell me to tell you today, that God knew Jesus needed the Holy Spirit to get through his storm. If you look back in chapter 3, just verse above that, it says, "And behold, a voice from heaven said, 'This is my son, my beloved, in whom I delight,' after he was baptized." So what I'm getting here is, after he's been baptized, the Holy Spirit led him. So what this text is saying, what it turned to me is, after you receive the Holy Spirit, God's going to send you through some stuff. He's going to send you through some stuff to ensure you that you can make it through. But you got to realize, and what I believe God knew why God was not going to send Jesus to be tempted by the devil if he had not been baptized. He may be the son, I may be the son of Reverend Lewis, but if I don't have the Spirit, I can't expect to me just walk out with nothing, no scratches or anything. So my understanding is, when he sends you, after you receive the Spirit, and he sends you to be tested. I'm here to tell you, my offer, don't get weary. Don't give up. Because if you hold on, he will take you to your destiny. And I want us to point out what it says. He went without food for 40 days and 40 nights. 40 days and 40 nights. I get from this is he went 4 days and 40 nights, but I don't see anywhere where he said he was complaining. Correct me if I'm wrong. They say he went 40 days and 40 nights without food, but I don't see anywhere it says complaining. Then I look out into this generation, and we our kids these days are having a fit when they go 2 or 3 hours, and mom and daddy not feeding us, and then police is knocking on our door saying we're doing something wrong. Jesus went 40 days and 40 nights. His storm lasted 4 days and 40 nights. When things start going bad for a day or two, we start losing our minds, don't know who to call on. We stop praying, we stop coming to church, stop coming to Bible study, and we wonder what's going on, why is this happening to me? I'm here to tell you that if you hold on, it's going to get rough. But the purpose of you going through the storm and for him to take you through these tests, for you to tell someone, it wasn't my mother that brought me through. My grandfather, he's a good influence, but it wasn't my grandfather. I had some good prayers, but I only know of one man that rests me at night, when I need some comfort. I was, on this day I was called and going through this experience. He placed on my heart, after I placed on my assignment, I felt peace. I felt peace all around. And it hit me that until I accepted him and surrendered myself, when I received this peace. And I did a Christian, and I said, well, I received this peace now, but where was this peace when I was struggling and going and living the prodigal life in college? Through my trials and tribulations there. And I think some of us do not realize, well, in this generation, we want peace and we want blessings and we want fancy things, but without going through anything. I wish I could wake up to a world where you can just wake up and, I'm finna get me this new car, I'm finna have this lavish lifestyle, but without going through any work. If I'm not mistaken, I'm confused on how we think we can wake up and get these things without going through a storm when Jesus himself had to go through some storms. So if Jesus himself had to go through some storms, and he had to be tested 4 days and 40 nights, I believe we have to go through some storms as well. And I believe when we go through these storms, that we are not just being left out there in the storm by ourselves. If we keep a faith of a mustard seed, I wish I had a witness. If I have faith of a mustard seed when I'm going through this storm, then I believe whatever storm I'm going through, I can make it out of it. Lastly, as I get ready to close, I want to look at chapter 4, down to verses 16 through 17. And it says, the people which sat in darkness saw great light, and to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light is sprung up. From that time, Jesus began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So we've been informed that it's time for a new path. And first, we can't let where we come from dictate our new path. We have to go through some storms for us to handle our new path. And lastly, I see here is, once we have gone through those two things, he wants us to take on our new path one step at a time. It says, from that time, Jesus began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So that lets me know Jesus, once he was coming from the storm, and he not letting his kinfolk generation before stop him. He was assigned to start his new path. Now Jesus' path was to preach and to perform miracles. Let's not confuse ourselves of one another when we see somebody's path that is better than ours. And just because the path that God's taken them, doesn't mean it's meant for us to go down. Your path and my path may be different. If he leads me to this place and go here and there, that's where he's leading me. This is not self. It's him. You can't look at other people and see what he's doing in their life and think you can just wake up the next day and say, well, because I see you got a new car. They bought a new house. So the path that God taking you down, I think I might as well just join them and take it as well. But I'm here to say, each and one of us has a designed path. And God informed Jesus of his assignment, and his assignment, he immediately started preaching. As he said, there are divine calling. And my grandfather and sister Lewis can testify, they was witnessing to my calling. It's not something you can act. It wasn't something you can pretend. Because what I know now, and I'm still learning, the Spirit could put a different move in you. When your talk is different, your walk is different. The way you communicate with folks is different. The way you think is different. The way you dress is different. This spirit is not something you can make up. Begin your path one step at a time. He began preaching, and then the later thing, he begins to call the 4 disciples. He began to call the 4 disciples. Some of us, I want us to realize, after we have been instructed to start this new path one step at a time, this means he may want you to call on certain people, but that also means he's going to call on you to let go of certain people. Because I'm learning, and I learned quickly, some people are not meant to walk with you on this path. I I know you've been friends with them for 12, 13 years. But if God said it's time for a different route, and they can't accept your different route, that's just a testimony of God trying to tell you, well, you're not hurting their feelings. You're not saying that you're being rude or mean to them. You just simply let them know this path that my God set me on. He just don't see me being in the same relationship as we was before this path. Because where I'm going, he already showed me that you can't handle it. So I'm going to make a decision before the major decision right now to do what's right. So lay down the line when I get to my destiny and he bless me, I won't be brought down by the negativity. God wants us to carry out his plan for our new path. And as I go to a close, I reiterate, it's time for your new path. And I see I was set on a new path about a month ago. And about a month ago, I was just the average young kid that's in college. And I was just going to college, living the right for life the best I can. And then one evening, I was home alone. And I was home alone, and I started thinking of the past and the trials and tribulations I was going through. I started thinking, well, if he took me through that, and I still was going through that, where does that lead me now? And before you know it, my answer came quicker than I thought. I was walking around the house, and I started thinking, and I started talking to myself. And then I soon realized, talking to myself, I began to preach to myself. I said, well, my God, is this real? He said, well, let me show you how it's real. A few minutes later, unbeknownst to myself, I began to recognize I was again preaching his purpose for me. And when I started preaching, I couldn't stop. I said, when I started preaching, I couldn't stop. I started preaching, and the word started coming from his words of mouth. And he started telling me what I had to do. I looked out the window and I seen my grandfather and grandmother. They was pulling up to the house, and I started saying, well, God, if this is real, if this is real, if this what you're telling me is real, I couldn't stop myself, even if I could. And they walked in and saw me preaching. They saw me jumping. They saw me excited. And I'm telling you, this spirit that he gave me, it gives me no other option. I can't sit still for what he's done for me. Because what he put in my heart was a peace that I felt like no other. He told me I have a new path for you. I tell you, you will have a sign. I want you to tell them I'm calling on you. I'm calling on you. I'm calling on you, baby. It's time for your new path. When I walked in, I said, Granddaddy, I have peace. I have peace. Cause he has touched my heart. He has touched my mind. He has touched my hand. He has touched my feet. I come to tell you now, it's time for your new path. It's time for your new path. I don't know what it came to me, but I say I hear your call. When he comes to you and tell you it's time for your new path. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I'm here to tell you, I remember, and I was talking to him, and he was saying, well, I'm calling you for this new path. And I was looking over the message, and I thought to myself, I wasn't the first to be brought to a new path. And I was looking over the message, and when he told me my son, his name was Jesus. He came down for this new path. I sent my son down for a new path. My son should provide an example to my God's children. I'm here to tell you, my Lord, your path is on the way. Your path is here. He is telling you, I got a sign for you. Don't be weary for the new path. For I read the Bible says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. And if I fear no evil, I know this path may be rough. I know I may have some bad days. I know things ain't looking right. I know you're crying at night. I know your family is going through something. So I'm here to tell you, if you keep your hands and you look up to the hills, to the man and when you get real up, when you don't know who to talk to, well, I realize this man, I call on him. This man, he put peace in my heart. This man, showed me the way. This man, gave me a new way. This man, showed me the way. My God, this man, told me, I know you are young, but I'm calling on you. It's time for your new path. Your friends may not understand. People at the school may look along. I'm telling you, if you keep your eyes towards the hills, I told your grandfather all these years, if you can't do anything else, don't be afraid. Just call
Somebody ought to give God some praise. Go ahead and give him some praise. What God has done. Amen. After hearing the inspiring message and challenge, there may be one here this evening that don't know Jesus in the pardon of your sin. You need to know him. You need to have a relationship with him. If you're here this evening, can I tell you he's waiting to save you right now. The choice is yours. As we extend the invitation, we invite you to come and to give Jesus your heart. And let him set you on a new path. Amen. Let him set you in a new direction. You're here this evening. Will you come? Then if you're looking for a new membership in church home, my Olive will be glad to receive you and allow you to become a part of this church family. If you're here this evening, will you come? Will you stand in the presence of the Lord? Hallelujah. There may be one this evening that you know that you have not invited him in. Why don't you invite him in? Will you come? Come now. Candidate baptism by letter of Christian experience. You're here, you can come. Hallelujah. We're waiting on you to make up your mind to surrender to the will of God, to surrender to the plan of God for your life. Let him set you on a new course. You're here today. No matter how old you are, how young